want to listen to our online services, but you've got no internet access. No problem. You can use your regular home phone to listen to our services every Sunday morning at 10:30. All you have to do is call this number on Sunday mornings, 289-635-4052. And when you connect, enter this access code, 3744. Oh yes, and one more thing. Press *1 to mute your voice. Here's those numbers again, 289-635-4052, access code 3744, and *1 to mute your voice. For more information, email minister@burlingtoneast.net. See you Sunday. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm glad that you could join me today. Just what I do from Tuesday to Tuesday, I'm going to run ahead and lower the drawbridge. The door upstairs is unlocked and ready to come on in. So come up and join me, and we'll start our Tuesday afternoon together. Well, the door's unlocked. Come on in, and we'll sit right down. Welcome. I'm glad you could join me today. Thanks very much for coming along and being part of this Burlington East Presbyterian Church's Tuesday afternoon check-in. I'm glad that you're here, and whether you're watching this live or watching it recorded later on, I'm very happy that we can get together. I just got a few things on the list as far as things go today, and I wanted to reiterate some of the things that have been announced both yesterday and I think again this morning. And certainly I have something as well that was posted this morning that came up. But before we go there and open the box of stuff that I found on the web, I have a piece of music I wanted to share with you. And I hope that this encourages your day, because remember, we're in this together. The Premier's been saying that, and truly that is true. even though we haven't been able to get together in person as a congregation, we can get together in ways just like this. And I hope that it's helping you. I know it is. You're sending me notes to that effect, and I'm glad that that's been helpful. This song is called The Servant Song, and it's just a song that talks about us journeying together in the love of Christ through all the things that we can encounter in life. And I offer that as a form of encouragement for you today. I forgot to deal with the door. Sorry about that, folks. I ran around and got my mask on, and I got it on for a reason. First of all, because I made a typing mistake on my texting on YouTube here, and Burl, thank you for pointing that out. And from back here where my monitor is, it looks like I typed after bib, so I got my bib. That's my cowboy kind of face covering, and we've been wearing these, and also we have the disposable masks whenever we've been going out. And part of what I found today on our web search and put in the box is some notes about that. So I've got our segment now that we do every Tuesday, and that is things that I found on the web and stored in this little box, and they're ready to show and share what that is. And I hope that, you know, it's somewhat entertaining in some cases, and in other cases that it's informative as well. So the first thing I wanted to show, I have two short clips. One is just about a minute, and the other one's 30 seconds or so of some of the announcements that have been made both yesterday and I think this morning as well. And I just wanted to let you know, you're probably very aware of these already, but just in case you're not, here's the official announcements about moving to stage 3 in the remaining part of Ontario.
Hey, good afternoon, and it's our Monday, so we're both here today, and of course looking back at what happened over the weekend and what was announced today and what we're looking forward to as the week goes on. So as you heard today, we have announced an additional 7 regions in Ontario that will be in the position of moving to stage 3 this Friday, and that's also in addition to the other 24 we announced last week. That gives a total of 31 that by Friday will be moving to stage 3. This was based on discussions with the local medical officers of health. Also, we've been watching for their 4 weeks of data to see if there has been a continuing trend, improvement of their rates of infection in the various regions, and to see if it was below the provincial average, which all these 7 have maintained, and to understand if there's been no significant impact in their areas during this time of stage 2, and there hasn't been either. We also noticed that
the following regions will be able to enter stage 3 on Friday, July 24th at 12:01 a.m. Durham, Haldimand Norfolk, Halton, Hamilton, Lambton, Niagara, and York Region. As of Friday, thousands of more businesses will be able to open up. And we'll be there for them when they do, because we're all in this together.
Well, there you have it. The other areas in Ontario, including our own area here in Burlington, are going to be opening up to stage 3 as of this weekend, basically. And it's interesting, when I've been out and about, and I haven't been out and about very much, I have to admit. I've been staying pretty much here in the home office, I think, as Marianne Mead Ward, or Mary has called her place, working from here to do what I can. And so we haven't been going out very much. When we do, like I said, we've got these cowboy. When I was a kid, I used to wear these as a kid, You wanted to run around like a cowboy all the time and need a cowboy hat down. But anyway, we're noticing quite a number of people are not wearing masks, and this is I think, going to prove problematic clearly. And I know that a lot of you are watching this. I've talked with you, members of our congregation here at Burlington East. Agree. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But still, I see lots and lots of folks not wearing masks. And just this morning, Christine Elliott, the Minister of Health, posted this tweet. And it was, like I say, 10 o'clock this morning, she posted this new numbers. Ontario's reporting 203 cases, which is an increase, and it's an uptick in the result of localized cases that are now happening. And the interesting point is that they're not all in the restricted areas. They're in areas that had already been opened, in some cases, to stage 3. But I think what's truly interesting about this is that more than half of those new cases reported today were people aged 39 years old and younger. And I think that's an incredibly important number to see, because those are the people typically that we're not seeing wearing masks. At least that's personal, anecdotal. It's not data driven at all. That's just what I've observed when I'm out and about. People in our age bracket seem to be wearing masks, which is a good thing. But as we've been saying from week to week, and I've got a graphic about that here, the mask that I'm wearing doesn't necessarily protect me. It really protects you. And the mask that you wear protects me. And until we can get that sort of more entrenched in people's minds, the senior folks that I'm seeing walking around wearing masks, that's great, but that's not necessarily protecting them. They're protecting other people. The people that need to be wearing masks and using extra precautions are the people that are going to potentially infect others. So if you're not wearing a mask, it really, really, I can't say it enough. It's very important that we do that moving into stage 3 here in Burlington in particular right now. And that mask is protecting other people, not necessarily protecting you. I mean, it's not going to hurt you by any means as far as protection goes, but the real purpose of wearing these masks is so that, I'm not spreading stuff out in general public. So, it's just something that it should be second nature to some degree. I mean, we've got our masks at the front door ready to go. It's one of those things that we do. When I put my ball cap on to go outside, this comes on first. It's just part of what I wear. And again, it's because I'm trying to be considerate of other people as much as anything. And that's really, I think, where the factor comes in. And that's also why I played that song to start with, because we are in this together and we need to be looking out for other people. Now, lots of warnings have come out, I know, from the mayor's office and also from the province. If we see people without masks, we're not out there to, get all in their case about them not having a mask. There may be a very good reason why they're not wearing a mask, and it could be as simple as, I forgot. And we need to have some area, level of room to move on that. So if you see somebody without a mask, the last thing you need to be doing is yelling at them about it or something. But we do need to be trying to encourage everybody to wear a mask to try to keep this down, especially because we're moving to stage 3. And I know a number of you had voiced concerns to me as we've been talking about this, that we're quite worried about moving to stage 3 because of the potential for, the word they keep using is uptick, but it's really not an increase in this particular wave that we're in. The conversations have been out there about when will the second wave hit. Well, we haven't actually contained the first wave still, and we've leveled it off a little bit, and when they say there's no new cases, that means that we've leveled it off and we haven't gotten rid of it. So we really haven't started the second wave because the first wave hasn't completely finished. But the first wave could have a bump in it. And I think that's maybe where that word uptick gets used, because it's probably appropriate as opposed to second wave. So the question that gets asked is, when are we going to be starting in-person worship services at Burlington East? And at this point, we're still holding to the not before Labor Day answer. And the way it's looking is that we probably won't be having in-person services until after that, and it could be, a while before that happens. So, keep supporting us the way you're doing here by watching Tuesday, but primarily on Sundays. And we're working hard at all that has to be done. We need to get a lot of things put in place before we can even consider opening at this point. And I've shown you some videos in the past weeks with the amount of work that has to be done in setting up, blocking off areas and putting tape down where people have to stand, cleaning policies and sanitization policies. And it's a lot of work for a group of us that are more in that senior category to be able to do. All right, that's enough of that. I just wanted to just make sure I pointed this out, that the changes are happening. We're moving into stage 3 as of this weekend here in Burlington, and it's really important, folks, that we keep washing our hands all the time, that when we're out in public, wear a mask. And in fact, I did a funeral service just last week, and the policy has been modified. I mean, we've been social distancing. I've done some funerals in the last several months, and we've social distanced and limited the number of people. But because of this new mandatory mask bylaw that's out, even though we're in the funeral home and there was only 3 of us there, we all still had to have masks on through the whole service, which is a good thing, but it's a change. And so again, wear a mask, wear a mask, wear a mask. I can't say it enough. All right, we're going to move on to something funny that was sent to me by someone that I know, and this is really short, but it's funny, and you can find it on YouTube if you want to hunt around. It's a video where they've put the superimposed arms on animals, and they're running around doing things, and it is quite cute. So this is animals with arms. Yeah, I told you it was short, and it is. But I thought it was cute and shared that with you. Again, you can find that on YouTube if you do a search literally for animals with arms. That video is out there. And it's just, I think, originally on TikTok or something like that, which is why it's so short. But it was fun. We've seen animals with mouths in animated things in the past, but that was kind of cute with just sticking arms on them and doing things while they're walking around and whatnot. So there you go. Shared that to kind of brighten your day. In light of that, I also was sent along this bunch of T-shirts. And it's summer. We're all wearing T-shirts. We're all trying to, be cool and stay cool in that regard. And the T-shirt is a great place to put something funny to say. And this is just a random collection that someone sent along and shared with me with some random sayings that you could possibly put on a T-shirt. So here it is, funny T-shirts. So there you go, funny T-shirts, and there's any number of ones there. You could get a T-shirt made up, I'm sure. They're easy to do these days. You can even print them on your own printer, apparently. So there you go. That's just some thoughts I had, and please continue to send in your videos and pictures to me so I can put them up here on Tuesdays or in my Friday newsletter. You can send them to minister@burlingtoneast.net, and I'd be more than happy to pass those along and share them. And I've been getting lots of photos coming in, and I want to hopefully continue that for things to be able to put in my Friday newsletter. Now, if you're not receiving my weekly newsletter, you can also send it to that same email address, minister@burlingtoneast.net. I'd be more than glad to add you to the list, and you can get weekly updates on what's going on at the church. Stay posted for whenever we might be going back to in-person services, and keep updated on whatever is happening at the province and at the city level as well. And also there's devotionals in there for you in that newsletter, some time for you to spend with God and to refresh your soul in that respect. And I even put some funny stuff in that you also have sent along. So send those in to me at that email address, and you can also be added to the list if you'd like. Well, we're coming up to the time for our Tuesday devotional, and it's a review kind of some of the things that we did on Sunday in a way, and I want to do that. So we're going to move to our next segment, Tuesday devotionals. Today's Tuesday devotional is going to be a reading from Philippians chapter 4, and some selected verses in there. And if you're not sure where to find Philippians, if you can find in the New Testament Romans and Corinthians, there's a little rhyme you can say to know what order these 4 letters that Paul wrote as the General Electric Power Company. So Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, and Philippians is where we're reading from. So the General Electric Power Company lets you know what order those 4 letters come in. So we're going to do that now. We're going to turn to Philippians chapter 4 and read this. It'll be on screen so you can read along with me. Philippians chapter 4, reading from verses 4 to 9. The peace that passes all understanding. Reading from the New Revised Standard Version. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say, rejoice. Let your gentleness be known to everyone. The Lord is near. Do not worry about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Finally, beloved, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence and if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Keep on doing the things that you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, and the God of peace will be with you. So that's Philippians chapter 4, and we were talking on Sunday about peace, and one of the songs that often comes to my mind when I think about that is this one I'm going to share with you from 1972 by Debbie Kerner, The Peace That Passes All Understanding. And we're going to hear this song just before I have a couple of words to share with you about this Philippians reading. This is Debbie Kerner, The Peace That Passes All Understanding.
The peace that passes all understanding will rule in your heart today. The peace that passes all understanding will rule in your heart today. All you have to do is yield and give your life away. The peace that passes all understanding will rule in your heart today. The Lord is standing with arms outstretched, calling you to His side, wanting to give you life eternal if in Him you will abide. If you will only ask Him to come inside, just open up your heart to Him and take down the wall of pride. The peace that passes all understanding will rule in your heart today. The peace that passes all understanding will rule in your heart today. All you have to do is yield and give your life away. The peace that passes all understanding will rule in your heart today. The Master is calling out to you to walk with Him in the light, desiring to ease you of all your burdens and make all your wrongs alright. Just asking you to rest in the Father's strength and might. easy and his burden on you is light. The peace that passes all understanding will rule in your heart today. The peace that passes all understanding will rule in your heart today. All you have to do is yield and give your life away. The peace that passes all understanding will rule in your heart today.
So that's Debbie Kerner's version and original version of The Peace That Passes All Understanding. And this reading from Philippians is one that was alluded to with the kids' story, I think, on Sunday. And we were talking about fruits of the Spirit Sunday, and we were talking about peace that needs to be cultivated from within. And it's just great, this particular reading, I think, and an encouragement for us, especially for the days in which we live. And rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say rejoice. Let everyone know your forbearance. In this version I'm reading here, the Lord is at hand. Have no anxiety about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication and with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And then it talks about this peace that will pass all understanding, will keep your hearts and minds. And I think one of the important instructional issues around this particular little bit of a reading is Paul is telling us to be actively involved in cultivating this peace in our lives and cultivating our spiritual lives. You know, the fact that we just, I guess the old saying was, just by, going into a garage and, pretending to be a car doesn't make you a car. So just by going somewhere and just by doing things, but just by placement doesn't make you grow in that respect. And we wouldn't expect that from a plant. We need to put it in good soil, and we need to water it, and we need to give it sunlight, and we have to be actively involved in allowing that plant to grow and mature on its own. And so Paul says, here's what you got to do. You've got to rejoice. You've got to have that joy coming from at all times. Even when times are tough, you need to be doing that. You need to make sure that your anxiety level's down, and we're all full of anxiety these days. Well, how do we do that? Well, he says deal with everything in prayer and supplication, which is talking to God, and let everything be known to God. And I think one of the problems that often happens in our Christian lives, and in lives in general, really, is that we get anxious because we're not working through things, and we're letting it overwhelm us. We're letting it get ahead of us, and then we can't see a way out, and that creates this anxiety and frustration. And by talking to God, by doing this active participation in the moment that we're in with God, it's helping us to work these things out and drops the anxiety level. And a peace, as it says, of God, which passes all understanding, will keep your hearts and minds. And it's important to do that. Now, the second part of today's reading is that finally, he says, whatever's true, whatever's honorable, whatever's just, whatever's pure, whatever's lovely, whatever's gracious, if there's any excellence, if there's anything worth of praise, think about these things. Again, actively do something in your life by not just going through the motions, but actively, consciously think about all of the things that are listed here about God and about your life as a Christian and about the families that we have. It's easy for us to complain. It's easy for us to feel put upon in different situations, but it's hard sometimes to stop for a moment and think about all the positive things that God has in our lives and God has blessed us with. And they may only be few that we can think of, but we're thinking about them anyway. It's also one of the reasons very often I read from the book of Psalms, because David, when he's writing Psalms, expresses those very feelings in many cases. I'm frustrated, I feel surrounded, I feel overwhelmed, but I know you've helped me in the past, you're going to help me now and in the future. He's thinking on the things of God. He's thinking on those things that are honorable. He's thinking on those things that are about love, and he's thinking about the action of God. And to put those words, he's thinking about just action by God, honorable action by God, pure action by God, and loving action by God, gracious actions by God. And these encourage his mind and heart. Paul's writing the very same thing to us. Think about these things, and God will be active within your life. It's important that we rejoice. It's important that we have peace, but we can't just sort of run out and get it. We have to cultivate it from within. And I think that's what this whole purpose of doing this theme this summer on the fruits of the Spirit is going to keep coming back to this repeatedly from week to week, that each one of these different fruits that are described are things that grow from within. They're cultivated from within by actively engaging with God and allowing the Holy Spirit to encourage these things to grow within us. You know, I can't make a plant grow any faster by simply staring at it and willing it to get there. It grows in its own time, but it grows more effectively and more healthily and more rapidly in some ways by watering it, by tending it, by cultivating it. And these fruits that we've been talking about, peace in particular last Sunday, a peaceful attitude will come upon us the more we cultivate it to grow from within. That's my thought for today, and I hope that's encouraging to you and where you are. And that's our Tuesday devotional. And if you haven't read this letter from Philippians by Paul, please give that a read. There's lots of encouragement in there. You'll notice in that in the Philippians, Paul repeatedly talks about rejoicing. He's rejoicing. He's telling the folks to rejoice, and then at that very end, he's saying, rejoice all the time. And we need to be rejoicing, and then we will have the peace that passes all understanding, growing from deep within us in a time when we especially need it right now. I do want to thank you for joining me today and being part of what we're doing here on Tuesdays for check-in. I'll thank you, like I say, for your support, for watching this live and for watching it later. Please, if you want to just chat with me, you can send me an email. That same email address works. That's my email at the church. And not only just to make a request to get the newsletter or to send me something, but just to want to just chat. And a number of you already have, and many of you cheered up my day too by sending me an email to tell me a funny story or just checking in on how things are going. So I hope that this Tuesday I find you're full of joy and rejoicing in the Lord, and that this Tuesday check-in has been helpful for you. Remember, you got to wear a mask when you're out in public. It's a bylaw here in Burlington now, but it's also showing courtesy for others and concern for others by doing so. My mask protects you, and your mask protects me, and that's how we need to be remembering that all the time. It's got nothing about, you have to, because the government said. It's got everything about living compassionately for other people. Again, thank you for joining me today, and I pray a blessing of God upon you wherever you may be, whether you're watching this live or watching it recorded later on. And I hope to see you on Sunday on our online service on this same YouTube channel. Thank you, and God bless you, and I'll see you next time. I'm going to close up after you've left, and we'll hopefully see you again next time. Thank you again for joining me today, and God bless you wherever you are.